If after 3 years of hard work you haven't doubled your income, your diligence is working against you. This is not an accident. It's a trap Machiavelli described 500 years ago. He called it the fate of the good slave. Now I'm going to show you how to escape it. But first, let's face the truth. You think hard work is your virtue? You're wrong. It's your chain. While you sleep 5 hours a night carrying someone else's business on your back, while you take pride in the calluses on your hands, thinking that God or the market will notice your suffering, you're becoming poorer. Not just in your wallet, but in your spirit. You've been programmed to die for other people's dreams, believing they are your own path. You've been bleeding out your time every single day without even noticing the wound. Every time you take on a task that doesn't lead to your own growth, you sell a piece of your life. Every time you say yes to a boss who won't share the profit with you, you sign your own sentence of mediocrity. This is the truth that weak men never learn, and strong men never forget. Your energy is not an infinite resource. It's the most expensive asset you possess, and you've been spending it to enrich other people's dreams. Machiavelli understood this. The prince who breaks his back hauling stones for someone else's castle will never build his own. He remains a laborer, never an architect. Niccolò Machiavelli watched empires rise and fall from the shadows of Florence. He studied princes, popes, and generals. He dissected power like a surgeon dissects a body. And among all his observations, one truth echoed louder than any battle cry. The man who sells his time will never control someone else's. The man who exhausts himself becomes a tool. The man who works strategically becomes an architect. Machiavelli never believed in the fairness of labor. He believed in results. Results always showed that those who used their minds to make others work became powerful, and those who used only their hands died in poverty, with a proud epitaph that said, "Hard worker." The prince who worked hard hauling stones was just a sturdy fellow. The prince who made others haul stones for his fortress was the prince. Machiavelli taught leaders to be like the fox and the lion. The lion is strong enough to frighten the wolves. The fox is cunning enough never to plow a field where the owner takes the harvest. Most men today are oxen. They take pride in how much they can endure, how much they can work, how little they can sleep. They take pride in their endurance, not realizing that the endurance of a slave is not a virtue. It's a tragedy. But the real truth is even worse. Your diligence is not just a lack of results. It's a tool used against you. Now I'll uncover the mechanism that turns your labor into your cage. Why are you made to believe that hard work is sacred? It's dark psychology of control. When you believe your value is measured by the amount of effort you put in, you become predictable. Your boss only needs to praise your dedication, and you're ready to work overtime for free. Your partner only needs to say, "You don't value our shared cause," and you pour your last money into it, while the profit goes elsewhere. Neuroscience explains it simply: the dopamine trap. Your brain rewards you for the process of suffering because, evolutionarily, suffering within a group meant survival. But today, that mechanism is killing you. When you're made to feel guilty for resting, for negotiating, for refusing dirty work, you're being controlled. Your employer doesn't want your results. He wants your time and your peace. Because if you start working smart, you'll realize you don't need him. Weak men ask for a raise. Strong men make their work indispensable and then disappear to create scarcity. When you're always available, when you're always grinding, you have no value. You're a disposable resource. This is the cold truth of power. The greatest punishment for the exploiter is not your request for a raise. It's your indifference to his project. You simply cease to exist as a resource for his goals. Now let's get to how you stop this. There's a difference between being lazy and being strategically unavailable. Absence is weakness. Strategic withdrawal is power. I'll give you 3 principles that'll change your life. Principle 1. Scarcity. The master of this art learns to be physically present, yet emotionally and intellectually detached from other people's work. He looks at a task and sees not how to do it, but who should do it. You choose where to direct your effort. You don't scatter yourself across every task, every urgent request, every petty drama that begs for your involvement. You conserve yourself like a weapon drawn only when victory is certain. Most men exhaust themselves by being available. They answer every call at 8 a.m. They respond to every urgent message. They jump into every task to appear like team players. And in doing so, they become ordinary. Ordinary is the enemy of wealth. Practice this with ruthless consistency. Don't answer the call if it doesn't serve your goal. Don't respond to tasks outside your responsibility unless you're paid market value. Let deadlines burn. Let managers panic. Your mystery is your lack of reaction to their chaos. The less you give, the more they're willing to pay to get you back. The more you distance yourself from their goals, the more they value your contribution to the common cause. This is the art of scarcity. Principle 2. Selectivity. You work only on what builds your capital, not someone else's bonus, not the annual report that will be forgotten in a week. Yours. Every time a task is assigned to you, ask one question. How does this bring me closer to my freedom? If there's no answer, it's not your task. Decline. Hand it off. Pretend you didn't hear. You're not at work to be convenient. You're at work to gather resources for your own enterprise. And every hour spent on someone else's priorities is an hour stolen from your empire. Principle 3. Severance. Not everyone deserves your effort. Most people don't even deserve your attention. Learn to identify those who steal your power through your labor. The first is the owner-employer, the one who sells your life while you sleep. He wants your loyalty, but doesn't want to share capital. Machiavelli taught that a prince must know his enemies, but never give them the satisfaction of his poverty. When you work for another's dream and forget your own, you elevate him. You tell the world his goal matters more than your life. The second are critics and colleagues. Those who say, "Don't be greedy, be a team player. Why do you need more?" They are voices that exist to keep you in the herd. They create nothing. They don't pay your bills. Responding to their reproaches is the fastest way to shrink to their level of mediocrity. Let them talk. While they talk, you build your asset. The third are energy vampires. Those who drain your time with important meetings, syncs, and discussions that generate no money. They disguise themselves as business, but they are parasites on your career. Cut them off without explanation. You owe them nothing. Every reaction you give to unworthy people is energy stolen from your purpose. Every minute spent on someone else's project without a share of the profit is a minute stolen from your capital. A strong man doesn't enter every race. He chooses his battles with precision and lets the rest burn out on their own. Your refusal to work hard for others is the loudest statement of your freedom.
Ignoring the guilt of not grinding is easy to understand, but hard to execute. Your emotions will betray you. The sting of conscience will burn. Every fiber of your being will scream, "Take on another task. Prove you're not lazy." This is where weak men fail. They know the strategy, but they can't control the feeling of false duty. You must train yourself to feel nothing. The Stoics called it apatheia, a state where external events cannot disturb your inner fortress. Machiavelli called it virtù, the cold mastery over oneself that allows a man to act with precision rather than passion. Start small. This Friday, leave work exactly at the hour your contract says. Don't apologize, don't explain. Simply stand up and walk out. Feel the panic rise inside you and let it pass through you without taking action. Practice this daily until indifference to others' greed becomes your default state. The man who cannot control his need to be needed is a puppet. Anyone can pull the strings of his loyalty. He is predictable, exploitable, weak. But the man who has mastered indifference to others' opinions about his work ethic is untouchable. You can call him lazy. He'll look at you as if you're speaking a foreign language. You can say, "This is urgent." He'll simply put his phone away without drama. He doesn't need to prove anything because his value comes from within. This discipline is not natural. It's forged through repetition, through failure, through constant self-correction. There will be days when you slip and work for free. There will be moments when your emotions win. But each time you regain control, you add another layer to your armor. Eventually, nothing can penetrate it. Everything you've learned today, the philosophy, the psychology, the discipline, leads to this moment. You are becoming untouchable for exploitation. This is not arrogance. This is architecture. You're building a version of yourself that cannot be reached by those who want to steal your time, distract you from building capital, or control you through fear of poverty. The untouchable man walks differently. He speaks differently. He carries a quiet authority that needs no announcement. People sense it before he says a word. Behind his eyes is something that tells the world, "You cannot buy my life with a salary." He doesn't compete for jobs because he knows work will find him on his terms. He doesn't argue with managers about fairness because he knows strength lies in indifference to their process. He doesn't chase bonuses because he builds his own capital. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's forged in countless moments of restraint. Every time you chose not to do someone else's work for free, you added steel to your spine. Every time you left the office on time ignoring the panic, you elevated your position. The untouchable man isn't cold for the sake of being cold. He is selective. He reserves his energy for projects that belong to him. He reserves his hours for tasks that lead to his freedom. Everything else receives nothing. This is the final truth of Machiavellian power. The prince who can be wounded by guilt over rest will forever work for another prince. The prince who can be manipulated through his need to be a good employee will be destroyed by those who exploit that need. But the prince who owes nothing to the world for his existence becomes a force that cannot be stopped. You're not becoming heartless, you're becoming sovereign. Inside you is a kingdom that belongs to no one but yourself. Your time is your territory. Your energy is your treasury. You've sat in the shadow of someone else's success long enough. You've given your life to those who drained you and gave nothing back but a pat on the back.
You've apologized to those who had a vested interest in keeping you convenient and poor. That version of you dies today. The man who emerges from this moment is different. He carries the wisdom of Machiavelli in his mind and the coldness of strategy in his heart. He understands that hard work without ownership of assets is a form of slavery, and he will never wear that chain voluntarily again. Your awakening has come. This is the moment when you stop being a cog in someone else's machine and become the engineer of your own empire. If this message has ignited something inside you, leave a comment below with the words, "I am the master of my time." Let the world know you have chosen power over weakness, strategy over sweat, freedom over salary. If you found value in these words, hit the like button and show your commitment to this path. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next lesson in power, psychology, and mastery. Your reign begins now. Go forth and become untouchable.